Hello and welcome back to the TomFM channel and Hop to the Top. Hope you're all doing well out there today. We've got some big games coming up, really big ones. We've got Porto in the Champions League, Xamax in the Super League, and then Bayern Munich back in the Champions League. First things first, you might notice this all looks a bit different, and I'm not quite sure why, but it just seems to have a mind of its own at the moment, this screen. Like, the league table stays where it is, but everything else just seems to chop and change. Like, every time I click on it, it's something different. So I'm sure we'll see different transitions of this throughout the entire episode. The next bit of news is how we've got on since you were last here for the 4-game thriller that we ended up topping our Champions League group in right at the end of that episode. Since then, it's been good for the most part. We've had some poor form in the past couple games or so. We had a 3-1 win over Sion with Wirtz, Boone and Schneider getting the goals in that one. And then we won 1-0 in the third round of the Swiss Cup with Dajaku scoring a goal in a very rotated lineup. We then go and beat Servette 2-1 in the league with Maurice and Wirtz scoring. Wirtz scoring in the 90th minute as well, just after they had a man sent off, which was pretty good going. Otherwise, that was heading to a 1-1 draw. Then form has dropped off just a little bit. Coley scored his first goal of the season in a 2-1 defeat to Roma away from home in the Champions League. They scored a penalty and then a goal in open play, which was a little bit annoying, but we still stay top of our Champions League group, which is good. We then drew 1-1 with Luzerne in the league. Luzerne a good side, so I wasn't really too fussed about that. We played slightly better, but Bottles with a goal in that one. And then last time out, a 2-1 loss to our massive rivals, Zurich. They scored a penalty and got a goal in the 71st minute after Bajrami was sent off in the 57th minute, which was frustrating. We also had 2 goals disallowed in that game as well, so it wasn't particularly our game, that one. But hopefully we're going to turn things around today against Porto, Xamax and Bayern Munich. So the all-important tables then, as it stands right now, we are still top of our Champions League group. Despite losing to Roma, they go up to 6 points, but Porto beat Bayern Munich for the second time in a row. They beat them 2-1 this time. So they actually go ahead of Bayern Munich in the group on 6 points. So as it stands right now, we are top of our Champions League group. However, if we lose to both Porto and Bayern Munich today, we are definitely dropping out of the top 2, probably even into 4th place as well. So we have to get at least a decent result against one of these two sides today to guarantee ourselves a top 3 finish to go to either the Champions League or the Europa League for the rest of the season. In terms of the Swiss Super League, we are currently second on 28 points, joint with St. Gallen, who are still going. They're doing very well this season. Young Boys behind us by a point, Basel behind us by 2 points, as are Luzerne. So it's still ridiculously tight at the top of the table. Anyone's title still. Also worth remembering actually that 6th place this season also gets a Europa Conference League place as well. So Sion currently winning that battle, but Thun and Zurich chasing them up for that place as well. So that is a sort of battle for the top 5 spots. But the second half of the table, there's still a battle for a European place there. So there's a lot to play for these clubs. Now, before we get into today's game, if we go onto the squad screen and sort things out by goals, you can see that Harvey Elliott's 7 goals is the most out of every player this season, which is a little worrying considering that in previous seasons, Molnar got like 25 last season, and if we can find him down here on 1 goal so far this season, Coley, only the 1 goal this season, despite getting 15 in the league, 25 overall last season, 18 in the league, 26 overall the season before that. He's had a terrible season when he has played, which has been really frustrating, and the fact that we're not really using him too much, he's dropping ability, he's not really improving, he's not scoring goals. I know he's only 22 years old, but I feel like it's maybe a good time to look to sell Coley. Looking in January, he's valued at £3.7 million, but I think I'm starting to think Coley might have to go. Obviously, that's just a thought at the moment. No bids have come in. I've not sold him or tried to sell him out to other clubs yet, so it's just a thought for now. But if someone comes in for him at the end of the transfer window coming up in January, then maybe I'm thinking, yeah, he might be worth selling. Anyway, for this first game against Porto, we beat them 4-2 earlier on in the season in the away leg, but Ederman sent off that, which kind of made it a bit easier for us. But at home, this formation worked very well at home against Bayern Munich and Roma, so hopefully it does the same against Porto today, with Fruchtel in goal, a backline of Boone, Bajrami, Augusto and Cruz, Palmiero and Schneider in the middle, with Claude Maurice, Alex Smith, Elliott in that attacking midfield, and Matthew Bottles leading the line. So kickoff is upon us today once again, and I'm being honest with you, I didn't expect Matthew Bottles to be our first choice striker this season, but the false 9 inside forward sort of roles has worked out relatively well. I mean, it's worked out better than any other sort of combination that we've tried so far this season, so it's kind of worked out a little bit, and that's why Bottles keeps playing so much, as Elliott is on an amazing run. Can't quite finish it, but Alex Smith gets there, and actually says they're assisted by Harvey Elliott, so maybe Harvey Elliott just passed it off to him. We'll see in the replay in a second, but what a start to the game against Porto. We may be having a little bit of trouble in the league against some teams like Zurich and Luzerne, but right now in the Champions League, Harvey Elliott, I think, just tried to hit the shot, but it just bounces off the keeper and goes to Alex Smith, and it counts as his assist either way, which is good. But a fantastic start to the game as we puts us 10 points up there, which is fantastic. Porto, obviously on 6 still. And we've got another chance straight after this as well with Palmeirio shooting from the edge of the area. Well, not the edge of the area, in the middle of the area, really. Edge of the 6-yard box more often, actually, than edge of the area. But still, curls that into the bottom of the corner. And 12 minutes into today's game, we are 2-0 up against Porto in the Champions League, which is massive. Massive, because this is the penultimate game, actually, isn't it? So, a quick look at the table then. Because it's the penultimate game, if results stay as they are, and we beat Porto, we are actually qualifying from our group, which is ridiculous when you think about it. I didn't even think about it like that. I thought we still had like a long way to go. But actually, if we win this, we qualify for the Champions League first knockout round. That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I suppose if that happens, there's no point showing the Bayern Munich game either, because we'd already be qualified. So even more of an incentive to win today's game, because it means a shorter episode, which means less editing for me and less talking for me. And it means I can play more Football Manager and get another video recorded today or something like that, which I shouldn't really be saying, because obviously you want to see lots of games, but that's what it's going to be. Are we the early kickoff or something? No, we're not the early kickoff, which is even better. Roma and Bayern Munich, were they the early kickoff? Because I can't see them. Oh no, they're right down there at the bottom. They're drawing. It's fine. Ignore me. I was getting too excited then, thinking they'd already played and that was the confirmed result. It's not. They are currently drawing right now as we have one more chance only to score a goal before half-time as Fructal gets the ball off Bajrami. They're playing it back to him. Fructal up to Augusto. Augusto hoofs it up a little bit but doesn't really get to its intended target. Instead, Schneider makes interception but gets tackled by Mendy. And Porto looking to pull one back before half-time now, looking strong on the ball. They just walk past us, really. Fructal makes a very good save there, but we were not good defensively there. And I've got to say, despite the stats, 16 shots to 7 shots, I've got to say, I think we've had the better of the chances on the highlights. So despite their 16 shots, none of them have been particularly good ones, you'd imagine there. As Bajrami up to Boone, up to Claude Maurice. Come on, lads, let's get another goal as Elliott's been put through. Come on, get another one. Oh, he just puts it wide, but what an incredible first half. You know what? I am genuinely shocked at how well we have done in this Champions League group. Because when it was drawn, I was thinking, well, we might get some results against Porto. We might be able to squeeze into third in the group. I thought Roma and I thought Bayern Munich would absolutely trash both us and Porto. But that hasn't been the case because Bayern Munich's at bottom of the group, having lost twice to Porto, drawn with us. We beat Roma once, they beat us once. But still, I can't quite believe how well we have performed. It's really quite impressive. As Schneider now on the ball, looking to come forward. If we can grab a third goal, that's surely going to be it now. If we can grab a third goal, as he comes forward into Bottles. Bottles out to Claude Maurice. Claude Maurice into the middle, lad. Come on. Harvey Elliott's there, putting it just over. But still, we're coming forward. Claude Maurice once again in the area this time. His shot saved, the rebound saved as well. Actually, it goes out for a goal kick actually in the end, so it wasn't even on target. But we are doing so well. I can't quite believe it, if I'm honest with you. I don't think any of us would have predicted anything like this. Nothing like this at all. And yet, it's happened. The thing is, I'm not even good at the game. This is the thing. Like, I don't really do any of the training. I just sign players based on stars rather than looking at the attributes. Basically, I just sort of play. I do the bare minimum, essentially. That's kind of how I play Football Manager. I sort of do the bare minimum. And yet, it all kind of seems to work out quite nicely for us most of the time. And this time, it's working out even better than we could ever have hoped for. Very reluctant to make changes because I don't want to ruin the dynamic of the squad. But Cruz is looking tired, so we're going to bring Biancone on for him. Also thinking about maybe just taking Bottles off to provide a bit of pace up front with Molnar, just to see if we can grab something right at the end of today's game. If we move these guys to inverted wingers as well, that might help out a little bit defensively, just to ensure we don't concede, but might help us going forward with an advance forward instead. Come on, lads. We've got 7 minutes to hold on to this 2-goal lead. Roma have just scored against Bayern Munich, which doesn't actually matter at all because it means that they're not catching us up, neither are Porto. It means that pretty much Roma are guaranteed to go through alongside us. Molnar still can't score. I just can't. This is amazing. Unfortunately, looking into Group F, Basel are currently drawing, I think, they're drawing with someone right now. I imagine PSV. So, by the looks of things, Basel are going to be crashing out of all European competitions by finishing 4th. But it's still a good shame that there was 2 Swiss clubs in the Champions League. But thankfully, we've gone through. That should do wonders for the coefficient and things like that. And Porto pull one back. Let's not get too excited now. Okay, lads. Let's just drop down to cautious and just say concentrate. All we need to do is... Oh, everyone looks overwhelmed by that. Just hold on for 3 minutes, please. Oh, please. No, good. Schneider. come on, lead a counter-attack and just get it into the corner. Just get it into the corner and stay there for 50 seconds and you'll be fine. As Claude Maurice gets tackled. You didn't get it into the corner, lads. You didn't get it into the corner. Fructal. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Hold on to it for as long as possible and then just literally hoof it into row Z. Please. Harvey Elliott can't win it. Keep hold of the ball, lads. Don't concede a goal. It's gone out for a throw-in. Take your time. Surely that is going to be that now. Surely. And it is. We've won it 2-1. A little bit touch and go at the end there. But as it stands, I think we have just qualified from our Champions League group. And there is the confirmation. Grasshoppers qualify for the first knockout round of the Champions League. You love to see it. We've got £2.32 million worth for winning that game. Harvey Elliott is in desperate need of a rest as well, apparently. So I think we'll do that. We won't play him against Xamax. And of course, we won't now do the Bayern Munich game because we don't really need to do that one. So we'll just do the Xamax game for the rest of the episode. But we'll make sure we rest Harvey Elliott for a week or so. Out of interest then, which other clubs have so far qualified? So Arsenal and Leipzig have, United and Atletico Madrid have, Man City have, Real Madrid have, Borussia Dortmund have, both PSG and Barcelona have, Liverpool and Lyon have, and Grasshoppers, which is the weirdest one of all. Ideally, we want to be finishing top of the group to obviously then play like a Lyon or a Besiktas if they finish second in their group as well. Ideally a second seeded side, but really we should get shafted in the first qualifying round, whoever we play. I mean, we should have got shafted in the group. We didn't. It's mental. Oh, this is quite nice. Going into January, the board have just upped our transfer budget from 3.3 to £23.5 million. That's something that... Wait, hang on a sec. Surely we had that much money in there anyway because of the sale of Thingamajiggy. Apparently not. I don't know. Either way, we've been given the money. We've basically just been given the money for Illich. Illich's transfer, we've just been given that to spend, essentially, which is quite good. I've also just been scouting out the Brazilian national side, so hopefully we'll find some nice release fee clauses in there. Either way, a couple changes needed for the Xamax game. So Bajrami is going to come off the pitch for Callum Brennan, and then Harvey Elliott's coming off because he needs to have some rest out there. So Coley is going to come on for him on that right-hand side of the pitch. He's not had too many chances this season, Coley, if I'm being honest with you, but he just hasn't played well when he's had those chances. He did play a game a few weeks ago and he missed 3 one-on-ones, like really easy one-on-ones that he should have scored, but he missed them. I just feel like he's lost a bit of magic. Just a little bit of magic we've lost from Coley, which is a bit of a shame, but we've got to deal with it, haven't we? Either way, the rest of the team I'm pretty happy with, so we'll submit that and go for it. So then, kickoff is upon us here today. And hopefully we're going to pick up a win, because obviously we played Zurich recently, lost to them. We played Servette recently and nearly drew with them. We had to rely on a 90th minute winner, essentially, to win that one. So we've not had brilliant form against the sides who are down in the bottom end of the table fighting for a bit of survival this season. Luckily, 3 minutes in, Claude Maurice gets only his second goal of the season, which is interesting. Obviously it's working because we are, as it stands right now, just moving up to first position in the table, but it's not working the fact that not many goals are being scored. That's part of the issue. I think we're just quite strong defensively, and this season, more than any other season, perhaps we are relying more on 1-0s and 2-0 wins rather than, Coley being a free-scoring striker, scoring 20-odd goals, and Molnar as well. Coley coming forward down the right-hand side of the pitch, though. Come on, lad. Get a goal. I want Coley to score a goal today from the wing position. I think that'd be really good for his confidence and really good for us as well, as Palmeirio shoots from the edge of the area, putting it just wide. Either way, I suppose it doesn't really matter too much, as Xamax on the edge of the area have a very good shot. Hit the post/crossbar, it bounces down. It's just about clear, but only as far as Xamax players who are looking to get themselves back into today's game. We're not really running away with it. We had 6 shots to 2 shots in half an hour. I'd expect better than that. But if you look at the formation that Xamax are playing, they are playing a relatively defensive one, so I suppose it is difficult for us to get the shots in there, as Basel, I've just seen there, are beating St. Gallen 2-0 right now, which is very good for us because it means that if we win today's game, we will go a couple points clear of Basel in second, which is great. Now, I am getting slightly concerned about one or two things. Now, obviously, a big part of this series is trying to increase Switzerland's European coefficient, make it one of the best leagues in Europe, which is fantastic. We're doing that really well at the moment. However, I'm liking how tight it is still. I like how St. Gallen and Luzerne have sort of joined that sort of Well, I say us. Well, to be fair, we joined with Basel and Young Boys because all it was Basel and Young Boys to start off this series. We came along and did very well, started challenging them as well. And then all of us, out of nowhere, St. Gallen and Luzerne have suddenly come up and started challenging as well. So it's quite a nice top 5 battle, which is still ridiculously close, only 5 points in it. The thing that I want to happen, though, is obviously we're trying to improve the coefficient of the league. We're trying to get Swiss clubs further and further into European football. We want to make Switzerland one of the best footballing countries in the world. That's surely offside. A long way offside. As I was saying, though, because we want to get the Swiss clubs better and better, they need to buy better and better players. And the teams that are in the best position to do that are Basel and Young Boys. And the fact that they aren't sort of leading the pack a little bit does worry me slightly. Because theoretically, they both should have the best sides in Swiss football. Better than us, better than St. Gallen, better than Luzerne. They should have better sides. And if they're starting to falter and they're not signing the players needed to play better at better levels of European football, then we might struggle to get higher than 10th where we currently are in European coefficients. That's all I'm thinking, obviously. But hopefully, at some point, we might be able to sell a few good players to some of these sides to then help them get better and things like that. As Claude Maurice gets his second of the game with a looping header just over the top of the goalkeeper there to pretty much, I would say, seal now a 2-0 win. Corner for us, Felipe Cruz into the middle. Can we grab a third goal? It's going to the penalty spot, or the VAR, which hopefully will then go to the penalty spot. It does. And Claude Maurice for the hat-trick. Can't score his hat-trick. That's 2 penalties we've seen missed in the past 2 episodes. Luckily, it doesn't matter because we're already 2-0 up in today's game. But it would have been good for Claude Maurice to get himself a hat-trick in today's game as Coley can come forward now into Bottles, into Alex Smith, into Palmeria. We are congesting that central area quite a lot. Get it a bit wider, spread out a bit, lads. Let's not be so concentrated. That's Fructal now. Can he do anything with it? He passes out to Augusto. I mean, he's keeping that pass percentage completion up pretty high as Coley. I want him to score some goals, but he's just not. Either way, a 2-0 win there seals off a fantastic episode where we've qualified from our Champions League group and we retain the top space of the Super League table. Apparently that was a fan day as well, with a bumper crowd of 11,000. I mean, this is what I mean. We need some bigger attendances, really. We get big crowds for, let's sort this by home games and away games. We get big crowds for the Champions League games. We get big crowds for Zurich. But other than that, like Young Boys 20,000 there, we don't really get massive crowds, which is a bit of a shame. Either way, looking forward to next episode then. We've got 2 games before the winter break. And then at some point in February, that's when we will have our Champions League first qualifying or first knockout round game. Not qualifying rounds anymore, knockout round of the Champions League. So I suppose we'll come back for that, but that'll be some point in February, maybe end of February, start of March, but I'm not entirely sure. So we'll play it by ear, but that's what's going to come up next episode. So thank you very much. Again, this has all changed. Why have we got 2 medical centres? I've not changed any of this. It just has a mind of its own, and it's weird. Either way, thank you very much for watching today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. And if you have done, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And I'll see you next time for some more Hot to the Top. So have a good one.